On the campaign trail, President Trump famously pledged to end the Ukraine war within 100 days. Progress has been made. Where are we?
You know, we're in, as the president has said, and as Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said, we're in a very good position. Look, nobody for the last 3.5 years now, was even able to get them to the table to have a conversation. That process has begun, but that was interestingly the easy part. Then you do have to get into the details of the nature of what drives this kind of situation to happen in the first place. So, you know, look, and I've been with the Secretary on some of these trips, the summits with Russia, the summits with the Ukrainian representatives and the delegations. We have special envoys. Remember, it also never stops. It's not just when we fly and go to meet with them. It is 24/7. It's different individuals around the world. And everyone wants this to end. So I would say, as the president has noted, and look, oftentimes we don't like what's happening. We don't like the actions that Russia has taken. Certainly we remember the Palm Sunday attack. And the president has remarked on Russia's inclination to start bombing civilian areas. But what Secretary Rubio said at NATO, I think, makes it clear, is that we are going to take Russia based on what they do, not what they say, and that we would know within a matter of weeks if they were serious. And you know, look, Russia and everybody else in the world knows that this is an administration that is serious, that they are making it clear that they're going to take action on what they believe. It's not going to be meeting about meetings. It's not going to drag on for months. It's not going to be a tit-for-tat thing. And it comes down to now a matter of days of whether or not Russia is going to show us that they're serious. Now, the president has made indications that, you know, he wants it to be done with diplomacy, but he's also noted that he's willing to use some additional economic dynamics. Already, Russia's under some very severe sanctions, and I think the president, as we've seen as the world's master deal maker, that he's going to make it impossible for Russia not to do the right thing. And that's what we all want. Ukraine's already acted in that regard about doing the right thing with the ceasefire, et cetera. And the world knows where the intransigence really is. And this is where President Trump comes in and his skills, his diplomatic skills, and his understanding about the use of all the tools here at the United States.
Will Ukraine have to walk away from the Crimea, which they ceded to some degree years ago, in order to get this deal done?
Well, I'm not going to get ahead and give you my opinion on these kinds of things, but that was 11 years ago. And it was an event that the world decried, but it happened, of course, under a different president, and there's been no change since then. This is the kind of thing that diplomats work on, that when we think about, and the Secretary has noted this as well, both sides will have to make some compromises. I don't know what those compromises will be, but that is the difficulty when you're talking with a world leader who's been injured, and the other party, if you really want to get something to stop, but only with the leadership. The difference is that America now is back, is that there's a president who cares. The American people understand this. We have been Ukraine's largest supporter, and there's a reason for that, because it's the right thing to do. But we are looking at the fact that, you know, diplomacy matters because it's the way to get things done, and the president wants it to be that way. And we'll see what our negotiators and our special envoys, and of course the president and the secretary, who are the world's best diplomats, are able to make happen for us.
Houston, Texas is home to the world's biggest economy's biggest port. And so the Panama Canal is very important to us.
Sure.
Has progress been made in stopping Chinese hegemony over the Panama Canal?
Already it has. The visit to Central America was Secretary Rubio's first foreign trip, and the first place to visit was Panama. Of course, the entire region matters to us, but the Panama Canal was built by us because it was going to be important. We wanted to be able to have that for the world supply chain and for commerce and business and the American people. And already, one of the very first things Panama did after that visit was end the agreement with China regarding Belt and Road. This is what China has done, including in the issue regarding the Suez Canal, about controlling the mechanisms of travel throughout the world. And that's unacceptable. We want fairness. This is not an unusual request. It's not asking for a privilege. We've noticed that the Panama Canal has emerged into being something that was not what we planned when we gave it to Panama. And so Panama has responded again, with China and the Belt and Road dynamic. We, of course, now are working on the issue of who controls the actual port mechanisms. That is an ongoing conversation, and Panama has a way to, and we've asked for, the free passage through the canal. But these are the conversations. I know the president has them. We certainly have had multiple conversations with Panama. Those discussions go on and continue, and I think we're going to be in a good shape regarding this. Panama is an excellent ally. They understand, and I think we've made terrific headway here.
Texas is home to the nation's biggest inland port in Laredo, Texas, with our trade partners in Mexico. It's a delicate minuet, trade policy and diplomacy.
Sure.
How do we stay on friendly relations with the Mexican government while at the same time pressuring them to treat us fairly on trade and to stop the flow of deadly fentanyl across our border?
Right. And, mostly we hear about Mexico or things about the border just based on what was an open border. Now, of course, that has been really sealed just because of the president's leadership. But and I think that's also what fueled Secretary Rubio's visit to Central America, is our relationships with all these countries, including Mexico, has got to be beyond the border. Conversations have to be had about trade. Look, we rely on Mexico, Mexico relies on us. This is a united relationship that in many ways has been lost to the public imagery of what happens at the border, the lack of genuine American leadership in what we're willing to try to get, but now we have it. And so Mexico has been a terrific ally in dealing with certain things like fentanyl, dealing with the transnational gangs and the crossings. It's been really terrific. And being able to have a conversation with them about issues like the economy, as what can we do if we work together? It would be extraordinary. And the president there, President Sheinbaum, understands that. And that, of course, is always our approach. That was on the menu when it comes to where Secretary Rubio for Central America. It wasn't just about immigration, but that was key. But it was also about the supply chain. It was about economic relationships, investments, how we can make everybody's lives everywhere. Look, when America does well, everyone's lives are made great again. And that's what it was his interest and remains a real North Star for him, about diplomacy being about the completeness of these relationships. And that's what we want to develop with Mexico. Certain news programming won't show you the depth of the nature of how good the relationship is. They only want to show you certain things that are also important. We know that President Trump is here because of the immigration debacle, but that was a symptom of American leadership gone bad. And now it's not only getting corrected clearly and obviously, but it's about, all right, let's develop these relationships with Mexico that become enduring when it comes to the economy. So Texas clearly is part of that. Mexico is welcoming those exchanges. It is a different holistic view of diplomacy and what matters to the country.
People are fascinated about President Trump's outreach to the people of Greenland, proposition of a potential U.S. presence there, or even a union. And that is a negotiation that State Department would have to be visiting with the Danish about.
Sure.
Talk about that. Is it real, and why is it important?
What we've always said, I know the president has said this and Secretary Rubio has said it, is that the future of Greenland belongs to Greenlanders, that it's their decisions that make a determination of what Greenland is and what it will become. And Greenlanders understand that as well. But they're also in an incredibly important spot. The geopolitics, as we say, it's like where your country happens to be. And it is a spot that, of course, Russia's interested in, China's interested in, and it's within the trajectory of moving across the globe at that point, affecting directly American national security and foreign policy. That's, of course, we have to care. Everyone's always cared, I think even the Vikings cared, about that particular location. Of course, this is something that has never really been discussed publicly. That's part of the transparency of the Trump administration. Americans know exactly what's on his mind and why it is. But we've also have made it clear that this is something that matters to us. We've got some troops that are there, but we also know that they were flirting with a relationship with China and all of that. And look, President Trump is determined that's not in our best interest. Clearly, he's not interested in Greenland because he has nothing else to do. He's interested in Greenland because it matters. It matters to national security for our country, and frankly, it should matter to Greenlanders and even to Denmark, because of a relationship with the United States makes everyone great again. And that is what we offer. It's a matter of a relationship, the security that comes with that relationship, and realizing that it matters when it comes to what American leadership offers in that process. And but in the meantime, it's been made crystal clear that this is really about what Greenlanders want for their own futures. But as we know, their future is linked with our future, as is everyone's on the globe. And so that's why we are, I think, very passionate about having the conversation.
Hey, thank you for talking to me.